Perhaps no other shrub that I like more in late winter and early spring is Forsythia. This plant signals to me, hey, we're getting out of winter and spring's around the corner. Let's look at two methods of how to propagate this so you could grow this shrub in your yard from just a limb. On this week's edition of The Plant Doctor, hey, I'm Dr. Tom Warren, and let's talk about how to propagate Forsythia. So let's talk about the tools that we're going to need in order to propagate our Forsythia. In case you're wondering, yes, I have changed clothes. In between shooting, we had a pop-up thunderstorm. I got soaking wet and I just went in and threw on a t-shirt real quick so I could finish up. But we're going to need a pot. We're going to need some sort of potting mix, and what I'm using here is just pine bark nuggets. That's all it is. It's pine bark mulch. Nothing fancy. It's very common where I am. You can pick this up about anywhere. I'll try to leave a link down in the description as well, so you can pick up a bag if you need some. We're going to need a pot. So this is a recycled pot. I try to recycle my plastics as much as I can in the garden. With all the plants that I have, I go through a lot of plastics, and I try to reuse them as many times as I can. But what we need to do with this, we need to take a pair of hand snips and just cut a slit on each side of the pot. That's going to be very handy come later. We need some rooting hormone. Here again, I'll leave a link down in the description. And what I like to do before I get started, I'll take some rubbing alcohol, paper towel, and I will just clean off my hand snips. Because anytime we're doing propagation, we're cutting on plants, there could be virus, bacteria on here, and I don't want to go spreading pathogens in my garden. So I will clean these off. But that's what we need. So we need a pot, we need some potting mix, you need some rooting hormone, you need some hand snips, and preferably, it's not mandatory, but this is pretty good as well to have on hand, a bottle of rubbing alcohol. Perhaps one of the most important things that we can do is select the proper limb to propagate on our Forsythia. So what I'm looking for here is a limb that's pliable. For example, this one I have in my hand here. We would consider this a semi-hardwood cutting. It's not green anymore, but it's not hardened off to the point that it's not flexible. This is still flexible. I can take this and lay it low to the ground. This is what we're looking for. So all I want to do from here is count back about maybe 5 or 6 nodes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So a node is a site of vegetative development. I'm going to strip back the leaves like so. And that's it. We have the correct limb to propagate. So I'm going to show you the propagation method, and once we're done with that, you will have your own cutting of Forsythia. So let's take a look at it. Now that we have we're back to our Forsythia bush here, and we're back to the limb that we're going to propagate. What am I going to do with it now? So I've got these leaves that are stripped. I'm going to take my pruning shears, or my hand snips, and I'm just going to wound this plant. I'm just going to whittle back the bark so that I have exposed the green cambium layer underneath the bark. If you are not seeing green cambium, you probably went too deep. It's important that we see the cambium layer. So the next thing I'm going to do is take our rooting hormone, and I'm going to pour just a little bit in my cap. And I found it really doesn't matter how you apply your rooting hormone. You can use a Q-tip if you want. You can use your finger and then just dab it on the green cambium layer. And now we are ready to put our cutting in our pot. All right, so this is the pot that we cut earlier. And I'm gonna put, I actually should have just done half. I'm gonna put about half of the media in this pot. And what I wanna do is that green area that we cut just a second ago, I want that right in the middle of my pot. And then on either side of that, we're gonna use the pot to secure our cutting. So our vegetative part is gonna be growing out the side of the pot. Then from there, I can take the remainder of my media and pour it on top of my cutting, and then we're just going to lay this on the ground. What you may find out, like I have here, is if you let go, your pot may flip over, so you may want to find a brick or a cinder block or something to help hold that limb down. And we're going to wait. We'll wait 8 weeks. I've got one off camera right here that I did 8 weeks ago. I know it's rooted. We're going to take a look at it at the end of this video. So hang with me and I'll show you what this is going to look like in 8 weeks. All right, so we had to get low underneath the forsythia here for this shot. Tight camera angle, so bear with me. But here's our forsythia that I did maybe 8 weeks ago. I'm 8 or 9 weeks deep into this particular propagation here, and I can already tell there's roots in it. I can feel the pot here. So once it's rooted to this stage, what do we need to do? Take some hand shears and then just go up towards the parent plant and cut it. We have a new forsythia plant. Yes, it's not pretty and uniform, but it is rooted. Let's see if we can, it's not fully rooted to the pot, so there will be some soil come out here, but I do want to show you. You can see the roots right there. So what am I going to do with this? So today is August the 28th. I did these cuttings in late June, or propagation method in late June. I have a backyard nursery. I'm just going to overwinter it in that nursery. I'm going to water it, let it go dormant, and let it sit all winter. And then next spring, I'll probably plant it somewhere in the yard or give it to a friend that wants a forsythia in their yard. But that is a very simple way to propagate a forsythia, is using the side cut in the pot method. And if it doesn't take, it's no big deal. We still have our parent plant and we can try again. You could do several. You could do 3 or 4 around the plant in the hopes that 2 or 3 of them take. All right. So that's it. It's easy. There's really not a whole lot to it. You have to be patient more than anything else. Just like with anything else in gardening, be patient. Try to learn something along the way, and you'll be a better gardener in the long run. Guys, as always, thank you for watching The Plant Doctor, and until next time, happy gardening.